Bitter cold temperatures are expected to continue as alert days last through tomorrow. I'll have the forecast coming up.
I'm here at the polls asking voters how they feel on the spring primary election day.
And we're at the Capitol with a preview of the governor's budget address.
We have those stories and more right now on News 3 Now at 6. Welcome. Thanks for watching. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson.
It's a busy day here in Madison. The polls open for the spring primary and also the governor preparing to give his state budget address.
But we are going to begin with the weather, where dangerously cold conditions continue, sticking around for at least another day. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano is tracking it all in your most certified accurate forecast.
Thanks, Sarah. We are going to continue to see wind chills down to near negative 20-degree levels for at least one more morning, and that is when the alert day conditions will continue, and it does look like it will get better by the time we get to Thursday. But taking a look at the current conditions, temperatures are a little bit above zero, but they've kind of been around here much of the day in the single digits, so still very cold. Looking at the low temperatures from this morning, though, these are the actual temperatures, and that negative 12 in Madison was only 4 degrees warmer than the record for today. So that goes to show you just how cold these temperatures are. Some places saw their actual temperatures get to the negative 20s. Looking at the current wind speeds, the winds have calmed down a little bit. Overall, it hasn't been too windy, but as you know, temperatures when they're this cold doesn't take a lot of wind to create very low wind chills. In some areas, seeing wind chills in the negative teens at this hour, and they are expected to continue to fall throughout the night. As we take a look at the overnight forecast, we are going to be seeing temperatures drop to below zero. Actual temperatures, I should point out, wind chills will be well below zero. I'll talk more in detail about that and show you when we will finally warm up coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Time is running out. A couple hours left to vote in the spring primary. The polls close tonight at 8.
And while turnout will be much lower compared to a general election, there are some races on the ballot that could have a big impact on the state and southern Wisconsin. We have team coverage closely watching some of these races, and let's begin now with Arman Rahman, who is live over at Olbrich Botanical Gardens. Arman.
That's right, here we are live at the Olbrich Botanical Gardens, and I've been here all evening, and it's been a steady stream of people coming in and out. I talked with voters throughout the day and got what you need to know about what the city poll workers are doing to keep your ballot safe. Take a look.
It's not that cold. You're strong.
And for other voters, the duty outweighed the weather.
Sometimes the smaller races are important locally.
Tim Deal voted in the Pleasant Springs area near Stoughton.
It was very quick but steady. I think I was like number 170 or so. So in a small precinct, that's decent.
His ballot and others only saw one race, that for DPI state superintendent. Still, Dane County saw more than 400,000 voters register for the primary. Madison saw a record of more than 200,000. But some had concerns after 193 ballots went uncounted in the previous November election.
They've added a whole section in the training for how we are supposed to make absolutely sure that we haven't missed any absentee ballots.
The Madison City Clerk told News 3 Now they added multiple checks and balances for both poll workers and officials at the clerk's office.
See 3 people signed here that all of them were opened and all of them were checked into the poll book. The 2 of us opened up that cart and went through everything in the cart to double check that nothing had accidentally been overlooked. We will do the same with the tabulator at the end of the night.
That should have, in my opinion, been like immediately recognized, immediately solved. But does it shake my confidence? Not really.
At Olbrich Garden, neither that uncertainty nor frigid temps kept voters in the precinct from coming out.
Knowing that it really does matter, especially for our local elections, super important because that's really what's going to be impacting our daily lives the most. And as Eric said, the time is running out here. Polls close in just a little bit less than 2 hours. You can catch results live as they come in on News 3 Now and on channel3000.com. For now, reporting live on Madison's Near East Side, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Arman. And now to the one race that every Wisconsinite has on their ballot today, state school superintendent.
Well, 3 candidates in the running to be Wisconsin's top education official. After today, only 2 will continue on. Our Ellie LaLiberte has been bringing you the latest on those candidates for over a month now, and she joins us. Ellie, what can you tell us about these candidates?
Yeah, it's a role that only comes up every 4 years. And as you said, 3 candidates vying to be the top education official that oversees public education in Wisconsin. Incumbent Jill Underly, who's seeking a second term, education consultant Brittany Kinzer, and Sauk Prairie Superintendent Jeff Wright. Now, they all kind of stand out on an issue. For Wright, he says it's his background here in Purple Sauk County. He wants to work with both the Democratic governor and the Republican-controlled state legislature. For Underly, it is defending a move she made back last summer to change to lower testing standards in Wisconsin. And for Kinzer, she's identifying herself as the only pro-school choice candidate and wants to restore those standards as well as Wright. And I'll continue to follow this race as polls close here in just a couple of hours. But for now, reporting live in Sauk City, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
All right, Ellie, thank you. On the ballot for several communities in Juneau County is an operational referendum for the school district of Mauston.
And if the no vote wins, this district could dissolve. Kyle Bazorski is live with the latest. Good evening, Kyle.
Yeah, good evening. We're here outside the fire department. It's the city's central polling place. And really the big question on everyone's ballot tonight is if the school district can raise the revenue limit. And as you indicated, this could have a huge impact on the school-age kids in this area, as well as this entire community. It could end with the district dissolving. Right now, I do want to set up why this referendum is happening in the first place. And in short, it is really about keeping the lights on. The district says they are straight up out of money, or going to be in a few short years. So take a look at this graphic. It was last April when a previous attempt only gained around 38% support. Then in November, it was better for the district, receiving a little more than 49%, but still not enough to get this referendum passed. So now this third time, the big question again is about whether this referendum will finally pass, or if it will fail for a third time. District Superintendent Joel Heach has said if it does fail, the district will then start the dissolution process. So reporting now here from Austin, I'm Kyle Pazarski, News 3 Now.
All right, we'll let Kyle's mouth thaw out a bit there. Very cold out there, and as the votes come in, you can see the results for yourself at channel3000.com. You can also get them through the Channel 3000 mobile app. It is free in your app store. Just search Channel 3000. Well, happening in just a little over a half hour from now, Governor Tony Evers will deliver his biennial state budget address.
Yeah, the governor has already shared some budget plans. They include investing more than $80 million on Wisconsin farmers and over $145 million to address chemical contamination. For more on tonight's address, let's go to political reporter Will Keneally live at the state capitol. Hi, Will.
That's right. So this is the second time this year that we've heard from the governor. He delivered last month his State of the State address. So that's kind of the high-level vision of what he's looking for the state. Tonight's address will zero in on that and back that with some money. Now, you're mentioning earlier some of the contamination. He declared in his State of the State address this being the year of the kid. So we'll hear that kind of sprinkled in throughout the speech. So, for example, on that contamination, he says, tonight I'm going to be asking for bipartisan support to invest more than $300 million to help get lead out of service lines. Very Wisconsinite here, saying bubblers, schools, homes, and child care centers for good. So again, we'll hear kind of that year of the kid idea when he's putting some of that money towards lead abatement there. Now, we're also looking at a major budget surplus, around $4 billion here in Wisconsin. That's essentially couch cushion money that the state has that it doesn't know what to spend it on yet. The Republicans have said that they want to spend that on tax cuts, actually wanting to get those tax cuts done before the budget process, which will take place kind of in the late spring here. We talked with a Madison Democrat, State Senator Kelda Roys, saying that any kind of spending of that surplus towards tax cuts would be incredibly irresponsible. She says a hallmark of the kind of incompetent fiscal mismanagement that we've seen from Republicans, saying essentially that that surplus money should be spent towards things like kids in schools and things like that. So again, we'll hear more from the governor as he kind of lays out this two-year spending plan later tonight, starting at 7. We'll continue to keep you updated throughout the night as well at News 3 Now at 10. But for now, reporting from the state capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you so much, Will, for keeping us up to speed. And coming up on News 3 Now at 6, how you can help honor our local veterans making a positive impact in the community.
Plus, the Wisconsin Fishing Expo just a few days away. What it has in store for anglers as it celebrates a big anniversary.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back, everyone. Anglers from all over will be headed to the Alliant Energy Center this weekend for the Wisconsin Fishing Expo. The expo is the largest in the Midwest, featuring nearly 400 booths, several seminars, and dozens of fishing boats from some of the biggest brands. There will also be a variety of family-friendly activities, including free events for kids. And this is the expo's 40th anniversary.
We are trying to get more people exposed to fishing beyond the show. You know, they can come to the show, get the gear, but then they can talk to all these local clubs that can get them on the water, whether they have a boat or not. And that's just a win because, you know, I've coached football and stuff like that in my day, but you always got to lay up, put up your cleats someday, your baseball bat, but you never really have to put your fishing rod away.
That's a good one. The expo begins this Friday and runs through Sunday. Admission is $12 for adults, kids 12 and under for free. And meanwhile, high school and college fishing clubs are also for free.
Well, a reminder, the Spirit of Service campaign is underway, and we look to honor our local veterans making a positive impact in the community. And News 3 Now is partnering with Vortex and giving back to our veterans. All you have to do is log on to channel3000.com, nominate a veteran in your life doing something good. And over the coming weeks, we'll be sharing their stories, and you'll get to vote and choose which veteran gets to take home a $5,000 cash prize. A winner will be announced in early April. Still more ahead on News 3 Now at 6.
After the break, we head back to the Capitol to hear from political analyst Brandon Schultz on his thoughts about the spring primary and tonight's budget address.
And when will temps start warming back up? Jacob with a complete forecast when we return.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. Governor Tony Evers preparing to give his biennial state budget address.
This as voters in the state head to the polls for the spring primary. For more on tonight's address and the primary, let's check back in with political reporter Will Keneally live at the Capitol. Hi, Will.
Yeah, we're back here at the Capitol, and we're getting expert analysis from none other than Brandon Schultz, the person that we need to have us kind of sift through all going on tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Will.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So I want to first start with the budget address here. Anything that Republicans and the governor can come to an agreement on?
You know, that's one of the things that people should look for. You know, tonight's the governor's night. Tonight's his night to lay out his thoughts, his ideas that he has, where he wants to go, what are his priorities. And we've heard about Year of the Kid and mental health, and we've seen some of the things he's teased about fixing some of the prisons in Green Bay and Waupun and Lincoln Hills, which has been around for however long. So the governor has the opportunity tonight to lay those things out. Republicans will see most of it for the first time. They're going to have to assess, are there things in there that they want? And what everybody's going to look at is how much money do you have to spend and what are you going to spend it on? Republicans are going to talk a lot about tax breaks, tax cuts, how to deal with that. One of the things that we all know is that, there's about a $4 billion surplus. Now, what will the governor propose to do with that money? Spend it, it's one-time money. You just spend it today, it doesn't come back. So where will the governor spend it? Where Republicans might want to use it for something else. It's a big budget, billions upon billions of dollars. So tonight, as I said, it's the governor's night to lay out where he wants. Republicans will have the opportunity to say something, but then they go to work tomorrow to tear this budget apart and likely start all over.
We've heard some Republicans say that they've been looking at some of the budget surplus, use that towards capital expenses. That can be kind of that one-time thing, so maybe we'll see something in that. Do you also want to pick your brain on anything that the governor could say tonight that would surprise you? I know this is kind of the budget that he would run for re-election on in 2026 here.
Budgets are hard to surprise people because there's so much of what's been talked about already. And what we've seen so far is nothing really new. Not that that's a bad thing, because he's bringing things back that he would like to see done. There's $50 million for roads and $30 million to get the lead out of the pipes and those sorts of things. So far, nothing new. Maybe that's the question that we sit back tonight and say, is there something that he says tonight that has that oh wow factor that maybe sets him up for what he does after the budget?
And quickly, I want to get your take on the primary tonight. The only thing statewide is that DPI race. 3 candidates, kind of a mixed bag. What should voters be looking for as they see the returns come in?
What I'm looking for is how the incumbent, Jill Underly, Dr. Underly, does against Jeff Wright, who's the superintendent from Sun Prairie. Both are Democrats, both are liberal. And then Brittany Kinzer is the Blue Dog Democrat conservative candidate. So let's just for now say she probably is one that moves to the general. I think the big question is, does Jill Underly have enough to get out of the primary against Jeff Wright? And there's a lot that's gone on. I mean, the governor has been soft on her reelection. You've had the whole fiasco in Milwaukee Public Schools, and now the audit that's come out. Plus, WISC, the state's teachers union, has endorsed Jeff Wright, her opponent. Milton School teachers have endorsed it. So I think as an incumbent, she has some issues, and I would expect that side of the ballot goes down to the wire.
Interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if the outcome was something we haven't seen for a long time, and that is how an incumbent fares.
Interesting. Well, we won't ask you to place any money on it just yet.
Oh, I'll bet your house on it, not mine.
Yeah, a lot to watch out for. We'll continue to keep you updated tonight at News 3 Now at 10, but Brandon Schultz, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Will, Brandon, thank you. Another day of bitterly cold temperatures. Jacob Madison with a complete forecast.
Thanks, Eric. Here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. We are going to be seeing those alert day conditions continue through tomorrow morning, but it will be milder by the time we get to Sunday. Still a little bit cold to end the week, but next week is going to be a lot better. We are going to also be seeing dry conditions going forward. Very little precipitation in the forecast. So here's a look at the temperatures compared to normal for the month of February so far. We had an above average start to the month, but the last week has really brought that average temperature down, and it's likely going to continue to drop with these temperatures coming in the next couple of days. The departure at this point in time is about 1.5 degrees below normal. I do expect that number to get to at least around 3 to 4 degrees by the end of the week, but it will warm back up for the end of the month. Now, we have another cold weather advisory in effect for southern Wisconsin. This is for 12 a.m. to 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning. Wind chills once again are going to get down to near negative 20 degree levels. Some areas could even get down to negative 25 degree levels, so it's going to be another bitterly cold morning. And for the afternoon, we once again are going to see wind chills remain below zero. Could see a few locations getting above that zero level, but for the most part, we'll see wind chills maxing out or warming up to around -5, which is still very cold. Thursday is also going to start out very cold as well, but the difference between Wednesday and Thursday is that for Thursday afternoon, the wind chills are likely to get above zero as actual temperatures could get into the lower 20s. And Friday will be very similar to Thursday with below zero wind chills to start the day and above zero wind chills for the afternoon. And it looks like Saturday morning may finally be a morning where the wind chills stay above zero, but it's certainly going to stay above zero for next week. So looking at the actual temperatures, they also will drop below zero tonight. We are going to see an increase in cloud covers, which will actually help the temperatures from dropping even further. And the clouds will continue for tomorrow with high temperatures right around 10. So it's still going to be another very cold day, but ever so slightly better than today, although we're not going to see as much sunshine. Here's a look at the highs for the next 10 days. As you can see, it will rise quite a bit for next week. Highs will be in the middle 40s Monday through Wednesday, and we are going to continue to see those above average temperatures for the end of the 10-day forecast, although temperatures may drop just a little bit. As far as snowfall goes, we're going to see very little of it. Here's a look at the cloud cover and snowfall forecast. We are going to see mostly cloudy skies tomorrow, but no snow. Maybe some snow in northern Wisconsin, but we're going to be dry in the southern portion of the state. And then we'll see clear skies for Thursday, clear skies for Friday, and pretty much dry weather is going to continue all weekend as well. We have a small chance of some precipitation next week, but at this point in time, we are not expecting much. The big story by next week, though, will be those warmer temperatures. So you can see over the next 7 days, each day going to be just a little bit warmer than the last.
And coming up in sports, it's round 2 with Illinois for Wisconsin, while the Badgers say this result is going to be a little different tonight. That's next on News 3 Now. If there's one team that's had Wisconsin's number over the last couple of years in the Big Ten, it's been Illinois. The Badgers have lost 9 straight to the Illini, and you have to go all the way back to February of 2019 for Greg Gard's last win in the series. But it's a streak that this team has plans on snapping tonight at the Kohl Center.
We remember what it was like back in the State Farm Center, losing to them. So, yeah, this next one's going to be a good gauging point to see how far we came defensively and offensively. I think we've come a long way since then, but we got to go prove it. Illinois is a really good team, really talented, really deep. So we're going to have to do what we do and play some good defense. They're going to bring us all they got.
The Badger women's hockey team is back on the ice after a week off and looking forward to closing out the regular season on a high note in Bemidji. And as far as the Beavers go, well, the Badgers will be seeing a lot of them. Wisconsin will face off against Bemidji State in back-to-back weeks. This weekend on the road and then next weekend at home in the first round of the WCHA playoffs.
It's an interesting position, not one I've been in, or I don't think many of the girls on the team now have been in. Playing a team in general, a 2-game series is hard in itself, but playing them 4 times in a row, like it's going to be a challenge.
You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to compete at a high level. But I mean, as you know, anytime you play a team past 2, 3, or 4 times in a row, it's challenging.
And speaking of the Badger women's hockey team, Lacey Eden is our guest this week on The Huddle, and be sure to check out Friday's episode at 6:30. Right here on News 3 Now. And she's a big Swiftie, so of course we talk Taylor Swift. I was educated on that a little bit.
Good for you. You have a bracelet?
Not yet.
Look forward to that. We'll tune in and see what that's all about.
Yep.
Final check with Jacob.
Yeah, we're going to see those temperatures slowly increasing. I do want to mention slowly because it's still going to be very cold tomorrow and still pretty cold for Thursday and Friday. Much better by the time we get to next week. 40s are in the forecast to start next work week. We also have a few small chances of precipitation, but right now we are not expecting much. So we just got to get through the next couple of days and then may feel like spring in comparison to what we're seeing right now.
Everyone will be in shorts again.
Yeah.
Just get to Thursday. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.